Hi, I'm Nick, and I wanted to make a video on why I meditate because the benefits of meditation are very misunderstood. And I just wanted to address a couple things and see maybe if I can get one person to meditate from this video, that would be awesome. But basically, why I meditate is it brings clarity of your unconscious habits. And if you ever want to change any, say you wanted to eat better or start taking cold showers, you can't you can only go so far with just your willpower alone. Eventually your unconscious habits are going to start to kind of slip you back into your automatic comfort zone, so to say. And that is a big roadblock for a lot of people because they think, oh, I could just force my way through it. And unfortunately it doesn't work that way. You're eventually going to break and go back to your old habits if you're not aware of what's going on. And it also builds a kind of reflex to observe instead of react. So say you're at work and somebody says something that frustrates you. Over time, you'll eventually kind of get this reflex that instead of like, hey, I want to hit this person, or hey, I want to tell this person to go shove it, you can kind of observe, hey, I'm getting angry. Is it worth getting angry at this? You can feel your anger out and then it's going to dissipate. And it conditions you to eventually effortlessly observe mental chatter as well. So you can kind of see what's going on. Say somebody provokes you, or you see something, say political or whatever, that gets you mad. You can kind of catch yourself and react accordingly. Like, say you don't like Donald Trump and you see something about Donald Trump, and over time, instead of, whereas say before you flipped out and you started screaming and yelling, you can kind of catch yourself and say, hey, I don't like that guy, but freaking out about it isn't going to really change anything at all. And it kind of really helps your mental well-being because the ability to observe your internal chatter, it goes a long way because it applies to any situation, whether it's completely relaxed, say you're going for a stroll and you see a cat stuck in a tree, or say you get in a car crash and you're injured, but you still have to consult the other person in the accident. You can kind of hold your ground. And with these things of, like, say your clarity of your unconscious habits and your reflexes to observe and whatnot, it comes increased enjoyment of life because you're able to act from a calm state of mind, or at least an unreactive state of mind, where you can kind of react how you want to and not what's automatically unconsciously what you automatically or unconsciously react. And I personally myself found that it cultivates a lot of compassion and self-love. And as humans, I would at least say I'm pretty hard on myself at times. And ever since I started meditating, I find myself a lot of times being like, hey, I'm being really harsh on myself. I screwed up. What can I do to fix it now? Instead of, whereas in the future, I would, like, I can't believe, you're so stupid, this and that. Oh my God, I can't believe you screwed up, blah, blah, blah. And I would beat myself up over and over and over and over again mentally. And it was rough. And like I mentioned before, kind of conditioning yourself with the ability to observe instead of react will increase your emotional stability. You'll be able to kind of not see an emotion as bad, but kind of just another part of the process, because a lot of our emotions a lot of our suffering from negative emotions, say anxiety or fear is the aversion of it. If you sit down and you just really feel the sensations in your body of anxiety, you'll find that it'll eventually pass. You just have to kind of practice a practice called surrender, and you just mentally let go, relax your body, and just feel. And that's what really meditation is all about. People think that meditation is about feeling calm or, whatever. And in reality, you meditate not to feel calm, but you meditate to feel. And that's like a huge misconception people have with it, is you really want to just feel and observe. You're not trying to force some calm state of mind, because if you're trying to force some calm state of mind, it's only going to increase your resistance to whatever's going on and further make you suffer and struggle when it's kind of unnecessary. So I wanted to go over some common excuses people have when it comes to meditation, because meditation requires discipline, but you have to want to, and you have to kind of really understand the benefits of meditation. And that's kind of why I'm making this video, is so you can hopefully understand what you're missing out on when you meditate and how crucial it is to forming any habit whatsoever. But the first kind of excuses people say is that I don't have the time. So a very easy way, because you and I both know that you're BSing yourself when you say you don't have the time, because I'm guilty of it, you're guilty of it, we're all guilty of it. Mindlessly scrolling on our phones, or mindlessly just watching something on YouTube or Netflix or whatever the hell it may be, and cut out 2 minutes immediately just for meditation. And I find that these 2 minutes are best spent first thing in the morning. As soon as you wake up, sit down on a cushion or a chair or something. Just make sure you get out of bed, and instead of flipping on your phone, checking your phone, sit down and meditate for 2 minutes. Then it's out of the way, done. You don't have to worry about it whatsoever, and then you don't have to worry about it till tomorrow morning. And it's good. And you can work your way up from 2 minutes, say week 2, 5 minutes, week 3, 8 minutes, week 4, 10 minutes, and so on and so forth, until you're comfortable doing a 20-minute session. And it takes time and commitment to see results in meditation, but it's completely amazing and worth the while. It's increased my enjoyment of life by an uncountable amount, and it's really brought me a sense of lasting inner peace that I did not have for a while, and did not have for most of my life. Actually, I had a lot of self-hatred, and my way to overcome it was through meditation. And I realized how brutal I was being to myself, and it really healed me. It's a very healing practice. And anyway, another excuse people have is that they have an overactive mind. And like a lot of people, I was diagnosed with ADHD in high school. And a lot of people probably, if you're watching, a video on meditation, chances are you might have an overactive mind. But you think about it, kids in school, they don't want to be, humans aren't meant to be locked up 8 hours in school, 5 days a week, and be forced to sit and pay attention to meaningless, mundane garbage. And it's natural to have your mind wander and not be able to focus. And when you can't express yourself freely, and you can't, go out and do what you want, especially as a rebellious teenager, your mind's going to get very anxious and, overreactive. And basically what I'm saying is you are not alone when you have overactive, intrusive thoughts, weird thoughts. You can't sleep at night because, stimulation in general doesn't help. Technology, caffeine, nicotine, whatever it may be. But in general, you're not alone. Everybody's got a monkey mind. everybody's lost in thought. It's not just you, and meditation can help you solve that. Is you can just condition yourself to not react to these thoughts, because a lot of people take thoughts personally, and that's not really the case. You're not your thoughts. The thoughts are like clouds. Just watch them pass. And if you want to react to a thought, you can react. You're free to react to a thought, but meditation will help you realize that you don't have to react to your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. And another excuse I've heard is people say they're too fidgety or they can't sit still. That's all the more reason to want to meditate. That means you're holding back something, you're repressing something, you're uncomfortable being alone with your thoughts. It means that you can't bear to stand and listen to your mental chatter because you're trying to avoid an uncomfortable emotion or some sort of discomfort or something that you just can't stand to be with it. And like I just said, it's all the more reason to meditate, because you have to just observe the urges. You don't have to react on them. Like I said, they're just thoughts. They're not you. You don't have to take them personally. You can sit and you can meditate and feel and observe. Say you have an itch on your wrist or something. Just observe the itch. You don't have to react to it. Obviously we're all conditioned to kind of, I have an itch, let me scratch it. But really just feel it out and practice that discipline of, what is this sensation? This tingling sensation. Is it really itchy after all, or is it just an unconscious reaction to have to itch it? It's really straightforward. It's just kind of weird at first to kind of feel an itch and not itch it, or feel a twitch and not kind of be like, hey, what the hell was that? But you just observe yourself. And I, for one, was neurotic about itches and scratches and stuff like that. And when I started meditating, I was like, oh wow, I don't have to itch goes away eventually. And you'll find, along with physical sensations, mental sensations, say a depressing feeling or an anxious thought, you can simply observe it and it will go away. It doesn't stay for very long if you let it. If you hold on to it, it's going to stay there. You keep refreshing it, and fixating on it, and it's going to stay. And you could realize, hey, I'm fixating on this thought. Holy crap. And then, you'll be free of it. And if it surfaces again, just observe it and it'll go away again. And that's all you really have to do. I don't want to call it simple, but it's very straightforward. And a lot of people would rather just be lost in their own thoughts and not observe what's going on, because change is scary. When you kind of realize, oh, hey, my life is being wasted, that's scary. And when you have that knowledge, now you have to do something about it. And that's a lot of commitment. Some people would rather just stay asleep and not worry about it. And I believe everybody should have that opportunity to live a fulfilling and happy life. And when you're too afraid to observe your own thoughts, then it sucks, because you're just miserable the entire time and you can't exactly figure out why. But anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent. The other excuse that I've heard from people is to say that meditation is not for me. And I think that's a little bit of a silly excuse, because meditation creates a lasting sense of well-being and peace in your life. And if you ever want to do anything with your life and forming habits, or pursuing a career that you've always wanted to do, or whatever it may be, you have to have meditation, because along the path you are going to hit speed bumps and you're going to be able to navigate them. You can't just hit them head on, because you're going to eventually fall back into, slip into your unconscious. A great example is when people try to start eating healthy. They try to start eating healthy. It's like, I'm going to change my diet, this and that. And they try, and then say they're doing good for a month. And then, they start to slip up and they're like, oh, this and that, I'll get better. Then they get right back on track. And then they fall back. And then eventually, you see them and, they're back to their old habits. And it's very hard to brute force your way into starting new habits. And with meditation, you can really make that transition into forming a new habit a lot easier, because you'll be aware of your resistance and you can let go of that resistance instead of holding on to it unconsciously and then realizing why you've been trying to start a running habit for the past 8 months and always giving up as soon as it, starts to get tough. And yeah, I think those are all the excuses I can think of. I'm sure there's a ton more, but I also wanted to get into how to start a meditation habit. And like I mentioned, you can start by meditating just 1 minute or 2 minutes or whatever is bearable at first thing in the morning or last thing at night. I highly recommend first thing in the morning, because then it's out of the way and it's easier to condition yourself. First thing, just meditate, then it's done. Then that's another day that you're stacking the habit on. And you just have to really understand the benefits, and you have to prioritize meditation, because it's really going to help you in the long run. But again, don't take it from me. Try it yourself. And progress is going to be slow. I'll admit, it took me maybe 4 months of daily meditation before I really saw even tiny differences. And the real differences start to show maybe after a year of meditating. And I don't want to shy anyone away from doing it, but as David Goggins says, there isn't a finish line. You're always going to do it. You're always going to be meditating. You have to do it every single day. What's 1 year? Start it, put the effort in, and you're going to see changes. It's absolutely phenomenal. And you have to remember that when you want to give up, you're not your thoughts. You just can observe them. And as you meditate, conveniently, you're going to get a lot more resilient as well, because you're going to be able to observe, and you're going to be able to be like, hey, this sucks right now, but if I do this every day long term, I'm going to reap major benefits. And you have to really be stoic. And as you go on, I forgot who said it, but there's a quote that I think it was something like, oh, you think meditation's bad? Wait, it gets worse, because you're going to start noticing all your robotic patterns, and you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm living like this. And it's funny, because once you start, there's not really a going back, because you're always going to be kind of curious and be like, hey, I wonder what else I'm doing unconsciously, or, am I doing this unconsciously? Am I doing that unconsciously? And it's pretty insane what you kind of do unconsciously. It's freaking crazy. Like, I'm an entirely different person than I was even from 2 years ago, from when I started meditating. But 5 years ago, forget about it. Completely different person. And it's insane. It's going to benefit your life completely. And I really hope after watching this video, you kind of realize the benefits, and you realize that, there are patterns in your life that are making you unhappy, that are from your own cause. And I really hope you'll give meditation a try. I mean, again, don't take it from me. You have to learn it yourself. You can't just logically understand it. You have to really just get it. And it's something phenomenal and beautiful. And I mean, now that you know, it's up to you now. Are you going to do something about it, or are you going to just stay asleep? Thanks for watching. Hopefully next time I won't be picking granola out of my teeth the entire video. I want to start to make, weekly content if I can. If not, bi-weekly. I'll have to figure it out. It's going to be starting to get nice route soon. I hope to make some videos on meditation, maybe some psychology videos, definitely some plant medicine stuff. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm excited to see what this YouTube channel brings in the future. Thanks for watching.